Welcome to They Said, She Heard, the podcast where words become turning points. I'm your host, Samantha Gibson. Here, we talk with leaders, dreamers, and change makers about one simple question. What was said to you, and how did it move you forward, set you back, or make you rebuild? Because sometimes the words that break us are the same ones that build who we become. All right, so in true fashion, when you start from nothing and build from nothing, oftentimes you become the one-person show. So this is episode 1. Episode 2 and so on is going to be taking place later this week. And I am really excited, nervous, and all of those other emotions mixed in. I do not know about you guys, but when you get older, the fear level hits different. And it does so in such a way where you're like, why on earth am I scared about insert the blank? When I was younger, I wasn't scared of stuff like that. It's the gift of growing up. It's the gift of maybe being jaded. It's hurts, habits, hangups, and everything in between, and maybe even some good stuff sprinkled in with all of those things. So I wanted to go ahead and hop on today, get episode 1 out of the way. And I thought to myself, I am trying to be as organized as I can, learning how to build a successful podcast, and realize, oh, crap. I have not chosen somebody to do my interview. So what better way to do it than here in my home office by myself? The kids aren't home. The boys are at school. I'll be picking them up here in a few hours. I've got my coffee in tow. I am feeling energized today on a Monday and said, why not? Let's go ahead and knock this sucker out, shall we? So this is going to be episode 1. I will share with you who I am, my quote unquote title. And yeah, let's get started, shall we? I'm Samantha Gibson. I go by Sam. To very few people, I go by the name Sammy. I'm pretty darn particular about being called Sammy, but many know me as Sam, and certainly people know me as Samantha. I have been a Gibson my whole life. I've been married twice, divorced twice. So there were a couple occasions where I had a different last name, but it is who I am. I have worked my tail off to be proud to call myself who I am. Title. So my official title is I am an entrepreneur, not by choosing, rather by life's twists and turns. I am a realtor. I've been a licensed realtor in Texas over 20 years. I've been licensed in Arizona over 8 years. I have done numerous different things, whether it is operational roles, strategic marketing, planning, business development, all kinds of stuff. So I'm pretty much a jack of all trades. The biggest reason being this, before I had got 5 kids, you guys, 25, 23, 21, 10, and now 8 as of Friday. Witten is 8. But I have lived most of my life, longer than I haven't for sure, as a mom, which has placed me in situations where I'm a provider. So when you are a provider of children, people other than yourself, oftentimes what you think you want to do or what you would love to do takes back burner, to be honest. And I wanted to be a lawyer since the age of 5. But again, got pregnant at 16, had Taylor at 17, and it has been, I don't want to say a roller coaster because that insinuates something negative, but it has certainly kept me on my toes for all these years later. So I am going to share something with you. The question that is asked on this podcast week over week, what is something said to you and how did it move you forward, set you back, or make you rebuild? This one hits home, you guys, in a lot of different ways. The rule and what I'm asking people to share is when I ask them that question, what is just the first thing that comes to mind? And I am not talking about what you think the right answer is, what the wrong answer is, what people want to hear, don't want to hear. It is truly what lands on your heart immediate. What is that one thing that just comes to mind? And it can be at any point in your life. I'm 42, I'll be 43 November 30th. And something that just really stands out. So in my previous marriage, something that was said to me and it affected me and it still affects me when I'm being honest and when I try not to stay brave, if you will, when I'm truly just myself. There is a book that I am reading by Ashley Stahl called U-Turn. I bought it at a half price bookstore in Dallas. I love the half price bookstore off Northwest Highway. I go there every time I go in town. It's like, I love the smell of books. I love how old the building is. I love how eclectic the people are. And the collection of books is just fascinating. And I love books. I picked up this book because of the cover. It was a little catchy. And very quickly, I think I was on page 2 or 3, I realized this book, I do not know why it was put in my hands. I had never heard about it before, but realized I need a notebook, a pen, and something about this thing as I'm about to turn it into a workbook. So it is a book. It is not a workbook. It is turning into a workbook. It's cathartic. It's a healing. It's doing so many different things. As of yesterday, I am on page 121. I am reading through the book slowly and truly working through the questions that she is asking in the book. It has been mind changing and heart changing and just revolutionizing. That a podcast. We are here with a podcast because of that book, actually. Yeah, that question. I'm pretty good at self evaluation and really big on personal and professional development and growth and healing and all of these different things. I'm a huge mental health advocate. If you follow any of my social media, I am a trauma informed professional. I am just things that matter to me. I want to know that I've made a difference in the world. And I have done a good job so far doing that, but I want to continue. And this question, the reason why it came to be was, again, through the book, not because it was a question asked in the book. It wasn't. It was rather, I realized the power that people's actions and words have on us from the moment that we're children, but potentially all the way through an adult. And I will tell you what, I have a lot of what would be considered childhood trauma for sure. And that maybe I'll address it on a different episode, maybe, who knows. But what I will share for the sake of this question, so what is something said to you and how did it move you forward, set you back, or make you rebuild, is where I'm really at right now. I will call it, I am in the messiest part of my life that I have ever been. And for somebody that is a planner, that is organized, that is methodical, that is strong and brave, and whatever words that we want to call, it's tough for me. It's tough for me to realize that's exactly where I'm at. What was said to me? So when I was married, I'm no longer married. I've been divorced, I think almost 4 years now. And we share 2 small children together. I will say this. I will say something that messed me up. There was a lot of, I think people don't realize the harm they do with their words sometimes. And then there's other people that know the harm they do. They know that person, especially when you're in a marriage or in an intimate relationship. I think it is so important to be careful with your words because those things really stick and they stay and they fester and they plant seeds. And at the end of the day, planting seeds, I believe you should do kindness and love, not the opposite. What was said to me, and as you can tell, I'm still tiptoeing around because it's hard for me to admit this, quite honestly. Because again, here you are as like an entrepreneur, business owner, mom, independent, strong, advocating, doing all these things that on the surface seem brave and a powerhouse. Like when I hear people talk about or I see what I have done, I think to myself, how is it that I am this strong woman in this way, in so many ways? And then yet, this one person said this and it has destroyed me. And I am having to rebuild and I am having to work through so much trauma responses and so much damage that someone's words, not even my own words, it was someone else's words about me to me did. The hardest one, and for the sake of today's podcast and episode number 1, because I want to show this podcast is not about telling you what you want to hear. In fact, if you're looking for a place of just tell you what you want to hear, this is not the place for you. This is a place where it doesn't matter who you are, what title you have, how much money or not money you have. I think several things can happen. We're all human, right? And life happens. And a lot of things happen behind closed doors that people don't realize. But then there's that other layer where I want to show you that you're seen and heard and validated and that you're not alone. I think the most important thing for a very long time, I kept what I felt was the secret of what was really going on behind closed doors. I was trying not to let the words affect me. And I figured if I just make more money and make more money and make more money, or if I get a bigger role or title, or if I fix myself and change myself, because he kept telling me I was broken and that I was not fixable. that things would change, and they just didn't. Words that were said came in the form of phrases, and it was, no logical, rational person would think the way you do. That was very hurtful. No logical, practical person would think the way you do, behave the way you do. It was very hurtful. For a long time, discussions came into the form where I started learning, and I didn't realize what conditioning was until I got out. But I will say, I thought that there was a list of 33 things wrong with me, according to him. And when he served me with divorce papers, I went neurotically trying to prove him right about what he said about me because he said I was detrimental. So my sentence and what he had said was, I was detrimental to every person I come in contact with. And let you sit with that for a second. And then it was, I ruin people's lives. So I ruin everyone's lives. He proceeded to tell me everybody that doesn't like me or where I have fallen short on relationships. Those are the kind of words, they're hateful. There's no other way around it. So I got served with divorce papers. And I remember my mom was in town. I had her fly in town because something had been going on. I didn't know it was going to get served. So something was odd. Something was not right. Things were getting really escalated very quickly. And so she flew in. And I'll never forget, because when you're dealing and you're processing with certain things being told to you, you internalize, I think, by natural instinct, whether it's a combination that you don't punt it on others or whether it's a combination of just you don't want people to know, whatever it is, I don't even care. It just, at the end of the day, we internalize. And I will say this, I will say that something that was really tough because now, and even at the moment, I was living out of my body in so many ways, and yet in my body in so many ways that I didn't want to be. And for almost 3 days, I tried writing out this list and looking through social media and old posts and just truly exhausting myself, trying to prove him right of this monster that he said I was, that I was destroying people's lives. Up until that point, for several years before, what he was saying about me, I would often say, how you describe me to me. People would think I'm a monster. And I know I'm not a monster. And here I was like getting promoted. I was getting community awards and my reviews and just everything, like what people felt about me. And so I started feeling like I wasn't living in reality. You made me question my reality. And y'all, if you have not dealt with something like that, it's exhausting, but it's really heartbreaking because when you do get out and you start healing and working on yourself and working with what I still up to this day call people smarter than me, the people that are licensed to diagnose and to help you through it, had to help me accept the damage that had been done because of his words. And again, it's progress. I still have so much trauma responses and such a long journey ahead. And it's been years and I'm still dealing with it, and not a lack of me not attempting every day to work on it. Every day it is a constant work in progress. But I will say this, during those 3 days, in essence, trying to put that list of 33 things wrong with me, because we'd get into arguments. And I would always say, do you want me to just tell you the list of 33 things wrong with me so we can move beyond, so we can actually talk about the frustration I'm having? Usually it was a form of, it wasn't against his person. It was just a frustration, whether it was, I felt I wasn't receiving affection, or whether it was, I felt like he was disconnected, or whatever. It was a frustration, right? It wasn't against the attack of a person, the character, where the approach that he had towards me was attack on my character. And that is not lessened, you guys. I will tell you, that's different day, different topic, I guess. I found through looking at everything, because I went digging, y'all. I wanted to help the guy out. I wanted to help him prove that I was a monster and I was a beast, that I did not deserve the life that I had, that I didn't deserve to be a mom of my kids, that I didn't deserve to have the clients that I did, and I didn't deserve anything. Like, I literally wanted to prove him right that I was scum of the earth and that I did not deserve to live anymore. Yeah. Like, literally, I felt he made me feel that the world was better without. And I don't share that for pity, you guys. I don't share that for anything other than it's where it's at. That's the truth. That's what this person made me feel. And it wasn't just that day, it was for years building up. So for years, I kept feeling like I was not deserving of the life that I had, or even belonging on planet Earth. Like, I should have checked out a long time ago to make everybody's life around me peaceful and happy and better. Because according to him, I was so broken and so devastating to those around me. It's very hard because through that list of 33 things, and the more that I looked at pictures on Instagram, and the more, because he told me that I wasn't a good mom, that I was never around for my children. And here I'm looking at social media, and I used to carry the baby. I carried Witten and Baker. Like, I've taken them to work with me. My other kids I've taken to work with me. Like, I have done community service with my children, and I just all these different things. So it's so surreal, like that damage. But I was living like in a twilight zone. And I look at these things and I realized through the 33 things wrong that I learned how to regurgitate in hopes that would lessen the argument so that we could address frustrations over the years. Instead, what I realized in writing it all out was that there were actually 158 things wrong with me, according to him. 158, according to him. I don't even know how one human being can hold that much wrong with them. His only shortcoming, according to him, was that he wasn't equipped to fix me. That was his biggest regret. And that was the biggest regret he had, that he was not equipped to fix me. I tell people I was gifted in him serving me with divorce papers while I didn't want it. And I tried to fight to keep it all together, the family together. It gifted me the freedom I would have never gifted myself, because I had been conditioned up to that point to think that I would be divorced twice. Who would want me? Because he was really good at telling me no one would want me with 3 kids. When I had my first 3, he met me as a single mom with 3 kids, much less with 5 kids, right? Divorced twice. And so you start to feel like you have leprosy. And I'm out of that right now. I very much understand that those things are not true. I'm learning who I am. When you take the role away from mother, because I am a mom. I have been a mom longer in this life than I haven't. When you take away mom, when you take away worker, when you take away all these different things, what are you left with? I'm left with myself, and I'm left with who I am. And I'm a strong person. I'm a creative. I love doing strategic planning. I love. I have used this time of healing to allow me to fall on my ass. I've allowed it to the hurts and the devastation, the financial ruin, true financial ruin. That will be its whole episode in itself. But all of these things that have taken place have truly tried to break me. And I joke with people. I often say, I feel like I'm the cockroach that won't die. Just keep going and going. And I don't think I want to. Sometimes I think my body wants to run away and have a breakdown, but it doesn't. I keep showing up for myself, and I keep showing up for my children. And I keep showing up for my friends and my loved ones and my clients. And I keep showing up, which shows me that the Lord has some greater plans than I can even fathom. But I will say this. I will say I'm using this time of broken to really let the vase stay broken. I did not want to build that vase again. Okay. I didn't want to fill in the cracks with gold, and I didn't want to do any of what those quotes talk about. I decided earlier this year that vase can stay broken. And there's a part of me that believes in you can choose something different, right? And so for me, I envision Legos, and it's like I'm just putting one little Lego block at a time to build the new structure that is me. And how I envision myself is one of those beautiful orchid Legos. I don't know if you guys have seen those, but the orchids, I love them. I love them. I find so much peace in that Lego set. And I'm always telling myself I need to buy one of those and just build that. When even talking about it right now makes me emotional. I'm glad nobody's seeing me right now, because it makes me get all teary. You don't have to rebuild that broken piece. You don't have to be the broken vase, because for some of us that have been through so much trauma, hateful trauma from a person that, in my case, in my story, I was with almost 15 years, the damage, keeping that vase around that way, even with filling it in the cracks with gold, still reminds me that he broke me, that he truly broke me. And he doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve that much credit anymore. Fine, you broke me. Fair enough. But I'm building as an orchid in the Legos. Does that make sense? You can create beauty and you can start over. That's why this podcast is here. I want to, like I said, just remind you guys, we can use things as reasons or excuses. It's really easy to try to use it as an excuse, but we are meant for bigger and better. And bigger and better, it's not, I'm not talking about a title per se. And maybe if you want a title, you want to go take over the world, fair enough. I will support you and like high five you. What I am talking about is using the hardest times of your life and allowing them to change your existence, because it's through changing that way that you evolve into something so much stronger and greater and purposeful than you ever imagined. When you don't have things happen in life, you grow accustomed and take things for granted. I think there's beauty in life when you learn to be humble and when you learn what help means and what asking for help means and all of these other things. I think there's so much beauty through destruction. There's also a lot of messed upness. Do not get me wrong. Like, it's not easy, and and it sucks, and it really does. It's it's horrible. It's horrible to see. In this case, like, part of this podcast, I had to mentally prepare myself, is like hearing the stories, because what you realize is you realize the damage or the good your words can do, and the damage or the good your actions can do. And I hope that this podcast reaches so many ears and eyes, because we'll be doing videos. We're not doing video today, but we'll be doing videos from episode 2 and on, where it helps people realize the magnitude that you can do in this world and that you can make a difference. One person, in fact, can make a difference through your story, through your support, through your resources, through whatever it is. Because again, there's people out there that just not kind, and that's all right. We can't control them, but we get to control ourselves, and we get to bring awareness to heavy topics. We get to grow from heavy things. We get to evolve from lessons learned, and so on. I just want to thank you. Episode 1, we are getting to the tail end. I'm going to wrap us up. Where you can find me. So you can find me through my social media handles, the Samantha Gibson, Samantha G _ realtor. Find me on LinkedIn under Samantha Gibson. You can find me on Facebook. Yeah, you can find me on thrivehouserealestate.com. That's our website for the real estate team. I do strategic coaching and planning. I can help you with putting together marketing campaigns. So that's like I don't want to call it a side hustle, but it's a leg of my business that I do for therapy, for knowing that I'm helping make a difference. I love helping small to midsize and large and extra large companies with public speaking engagements, training, workshops, etc. Really helping people live out their best life is something I find joy and passion, and it's one of my core values. I am currently learning to do podcasts. That is what I'm learning for my personal growth this week. That is another question we'll be asking here on podcast. I am learning all about the podcast stuff. So be patient with me. I promise we will be evolving, but I hope it is for the best. I hope you appreciate just the raw and the realness of it all. I'm going to leave you with a question that I will answer through my social media handle. So make sure to go find me if you want the answer in my own words. But the question that I will be answering is this. I'm thinking. Oh, I know. So in the book U-Turn, it asked me yesterday, what are 5 people, like who are the 5 people that I find inspiring? And they can be as local, so somebody I know directly, all the way up to the most famous person, past or present. I came up with my 5. I came up why they are inspiring to me. And then I had to provide what I can learn from them, what I want to learn from them to help me continue pursuing my big, bold dreams. So if you want to go see who the 5 are, they don't even know this, but because a couple of them are like local, and the other ones are people that are on social media platforms. So I'll make sure to tag them. I'll make sure to share. And with that, I see you. I love you. You matter to me. And I hope you guys have a fantastic week ahead. making sure that you continue learning from all the lessons had. And remember, you are amazing. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.